If you're wondering why the West is falling and why in the Western countries we're being told that diversity is our strength, and if the West moves somewhere else, it's called colonization, it's something called the Cloward Piven strategy that was made in the 1960s in order to collapse the system from within. By also using communist and Karl Marx propaganda in order to get the poor or the working class to go against the system in order to collapse it. So let me just show you kind of what it means, and then I'll go into detail and you'll understand why we're having brand new activism and, people protesting literally almost every week. And each week they change the flags on their bios and they're holding new flags and they stand with this and then they stand with that. But each time, none of those morals kind of line up with what they actually say they believe in. And that's a strategy that is being used today in the Western world in order to make the West fall. This includes Europe, North America, Australia. And it is being used across the board because if the West falls, the West, who holds the most human rights, individual freedoms, if they fall, then the elite parasites can come in and absolutely own the entire planet and humanity with it. But let me just show you exactly what the Cloward Piven strategy actually is, and then I'm going to explain it a little bit further. The Cloward Piven strategy is basically overload a system, create mass panic and hysteria as the system is overloaded, oversee the destruction of the system, meaning control the destruction of the system itself, which is what all of the Western governments are doing right now, and then replace the former system with a new system, aka the New World Order, the Great Reset, whatever the World Economic Forum wants to call it. But either way, we are literally here and have been for a few years now. The Cloward Piven strategy is a political gambit designed to overwhelm the American government by placing so many demands on the bureaucratic structure that it collapses. It's sort of a shock and awe campaign, a surprise attack on the entrenched system meant to force major changes to the ways that things are handled by the government. It may be messy, but it does harken back to the fundamental ideology of the American Republic. If it ain't fixed, break it. Now, in order for them to actually make their plans happen, you need activists. You need to get people who are less educated, who think that they are owed all of the money, and who want to take away from others in order to have and not work for it. So in the 60s, they used the hippies, and in today's world, we have the activists who are pretty much paid protesters to just hold up whatever flag they want them to hold up in order to create chaos within those countries. Now, we're seeing this with mass immigration on the welfare system, the healthcare system, and then you have all of these activists who are creating chaos within cities and creating more division between the people, whether it's color, whether it's class, whether it's whatever, whether it's religion, anything that they can, and they continuously keep it going until eventually we're all overloaded and we don't want to deal with it. Now, if you look at the strategies that they're using the exact same strategy to kind of put their ideas forward to the working people that the same communists and Marxists used to back then in Soviet Russia and so forth. Let me just show you how they're thinking and kind of getting people to join their side in order to get them to collapse the system from within. So according to Richard Andrew Cloward and Francis Fox Piven, the wealthy use the welfare system to keep the poor subjugated. I don't know how, but okay. To maintain institutional systems of inequality. This prevented real change from occurring and disproportionately impacted African Americans, many of whom lived in working class urban neighborhoods. As Cloward would state in a later interview, the poor could only advance when the rest of society learned to fear them. They needed a revolution. But what's interesting is their end plan was to get everybody on a UBI, which is a universal basic income. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want the government telling me how much of an income I can have and how much I can have monthly and what I can spend on. This is their first step. And if they can get this step into place, then they can get absolutely everything else into place, which includes digital IDs, controlling how much we spend, controlling where we spend, how much we eat, where we live. Because if you're getting an allowance that you're not working for on your own, that means you get somebody who gets to tell you how you use your money.